besties. You're currently watching The Vomitorium. You can support the show at www.streamlabs.com/Vomitorium Live. Enjoy the show!
Welcome to the Vomitorium Live. As always, I'm your host, The Metal. I would say, though it's been a long time since we've done the program in this format, I'm glad to bring it back. We did the whole split show for a while, but we're merging everything back together, doing this in like a nightly, weeknight format, which will be fun. Now I'm just going to talk about literally whatever I want to talk about each day of the week for about an hour straight. Hey, Kefnet the Useless, thanks for showing up to the, I guess, re-premiere of the show. Hope everybody is having a wonderful night. Don't worry, eventually I will have a proper intro, like an opening number or something for this before I come on live. That'll give us like 5 minutes or so, but until then, we'll just have music and the loading screen that was playing before. Find it's a wonderful, wonderful evening, second night of Hanukkah, so Hanukkah Sameach to those who celebrate. Going into the Christmas season for everybody else who celebrates that. Hope you guys have your wish lists ready, though. As most of us are adults, that wish list is probably just a pair of socks. I know I'm happy when I get those. Or some new underwear. You know, I used to hate those when I was a kid, but once you become an adult, you're like, man, this stuff's great. I love it when I don't have to pay for my own underwear. Well, let's talk about everything that's been going on lately. What do I want to start with? There's a lot to talk about. And we only have an hour to do it. More or less. Actually, less than that, because the last 5 minutes is going to be a closing screen. Where do I want to start? I definitely don't want to start talking about that awful Supergirl trailer. I think that's pretty much going to be the only thing I mention about it is that line right there. Oh, Kevin says, I'm happy, or pretty happy, as I've got a new GPU arriving this week. Oh, that's great. Upgrade that computer. Play those games even better. See, I do have a list of things here that we could possibly talk about. I guess I could give my impression of the Game Awards, since that happened last week. It was actually one of the main reasons we didn't have a show last week. That, and we were transitioning over to this late night block now. I'm just happy that Expedition 33 won literally everything that it was entered into. I thought that was great. Normally, I don't care about that award show at all, though. The fact that people even get to vote on some level already makes it better than almost every other award show. Other than I think there is a Player's Choice award show out there somewhere where it's almost entirely the players. That's the best one. I can't remember what it was, like the joystick, or I can't remember the name of it. When it comes back up, though, I'll remember because it comes up every year. Yeah, Woowa won Player's Voice, which is kind of funny. I think because a lot of people were hoping for some freebies. I know that's usually each year why people vote for Genshin, but I think because they stopped giving out the freebies is why Genshin lost all of their drive to try to beat out other things. But, you know, Woo was a good game. I'm not saying it doesn't deserve it. It's pretty cool. It's its first time winning a category like that, I think. So all power to them. Good job, Kuro Games, for being able to convince people to want to come and purchase. Or actually, not even purchase, just play. You can play it for free. Though I think most people are at least low spenders, right? In most of these games. Most people are at least light spenders. And I don't know. I've heard rumors that we probably will be getting something out of it. I don't know. I don't really care. That's not a good reason to vote for something, but I've yet to receive it in my mail if it actually is coming. And I guess for anybody listening or watching this post that don't know Woo is, that's Wuthering Waves, but we do abbreviate that to Woowa, very common shorthand. If you hear me say that name again, that is what we're referring to. So I did try getting back into that lately. It's hard, I think, for me to get into Wuthering Waves because there are aspects of it I really, really enjoy, but I don't enjoy the totality of it. So for me, the best way to play that game is to just like play it when the new content drops and then just don't really play it again after that unless I really need to grind for a character I want. But luckily, I'm really picky and there's not a lot of characters I want, so I've been able to get all the ones that I've wanted and then a couple I didn't in that time. I got Chisa and her weapon. I really like Chisa's design and her character. She's a great one, which happened to, I think when the awards were happening, to be the current on-banner character. I don't know if it already switched to the next one. We're in a double rerun right now with Frolova and Cantarella running. Don't remember when it started, though, so it could have been already when the award show went live. But Chisa's cool. She's fun to play, too. I think it's another problem I tend to have with that game is I don't particularly like not just the design of a lot of the characters, but also how the characters play. But I've had Jinchi for, like, ever, and I kind of like her design, and I like her playstyle, and I had her weapon and I think her waveform 1. So I've been able to just like sit on her and be happy for a really long time. The cool thing about that game is if you only really care about playing the story anyway, you don't really need characters. They make you play as Rover, more or less. You do get to play as your characters during parts of the story, but like nothing's particularly hard unless you want to play the side content. It's got some pretty hard stuff in the game if you like the side content, right? It's got the holograms. I guess Tower of Adversity is probably hard at the end. I don't care for Tower of Adversity at all, so I couldn't even tell you how hard it is. But you don't really need characters in that game if you're a story player or even just an exploration person. Kind of almost the same in Genshin, right? Like, I've been playing Genshin for years. You don't need characters in Genshin if you're just trying to keep up with the main story or to explore the world. Both of these games are similar in that regard. You just kind of play the one that appeals to you more, or both if you've got the time. So Keftis' last character I pulled was for Augusta. I think I casually pulled for Augusta. I didn't get her. Augusta's in that line of I don't dislike her design, so I wouldn't have mind getting her. Her playstyle is actually kind of fun, though, so I think that's why I was casually pulling for her. But all these characters you get to play at some point in time in the story anyway, so if you're caught up to the story, it's probably the best way to trial the character to see if you like it or not. I think the only character I actually liked the design of, but I didn't get, was Yuno. And it's because I forgot to play the game during that patch. That is purely the reason. I'll probably get her on a rerun sometime. I get so busy playing other stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, I do try to keep up with the story on Wuthering Waves. I'm almost caught up, though, because like I said, I didn't play during that patch. I'm actually a little bit behind. I've played through that part now. I think I just finished Frolova's quest. All on my personal account. I've never streamed this game. Maybe I will someday. Yeah, I think I just finished that, so I'm almost caught up to current content. I haven't even done Cheese's stuff, like the story quest that she's in. I just really like her character. I heard some people were throwing a fit, though, about the fact that she calls you senpai in it. For some reason, not understanding what that word means, and the fact that both she and her area is kind of like Japanese themed. So if you are her senior, of course she would call you senpai. Like, that was like a weird thing on Twitter for a week, that people were kind of just going crazy over a Japanese girl referring to you as senpai. I'm like, do you even know what that word means? Why are you getting upset about that? And it was mostly Wuthering Waves players, too. It wasn't even like people outside the community. Like, what? Why? Why are you upset? This is innocuous. It's actually the least flirtatious thing that's happened in the game so far. Right? That's actually kind of been my biggest problem with Wuthering Waves on what keeps me from really getting into the story. But I do play... I like the dungeons. I really like their dungeons. I think they need to lean more into that. Every time I play through a story, the environments they take me through during the main story are great. I have a blast with that part. Same with the character stories. Also have really good, like, dungeon setups. So if they would go even harder in the paint into that, I would be happy with that game. But, like, the story, a lot of it's just Rover's harem. Not all of it. Actually kind of liked Frolova's story because it wasn't a Rover's harem moment. That was pretty cool. But I get it. It's popular for a lot of people, not for me. I care more about, like, the development of the world, which we are getting a lot of it at that. Like, we're actually understanding the fabric of this world. It's kind of cool. It's kind of got, like, a Da Vinci-esque, like, formation of the realms. So, I'll watch it. The game hasn't, like, pulled me away from it yet. Let's see. Kefta says, other than my gacha games, I've been grinding the Renegades DLC for Destiny 2. Never got into Destiny, but that's cool. I always love it when people are enjoying new content. Even with it basically just being a Star Wars collab DLC, was pretty fun. And you're upset that we won't be getting the Japanese-themed Eido Star still. Yeah, I might talk about that for a little bit with Honkai Star Rail. Fischosa's here. Hey, if you don't know, I have done research on Garth Ennis, which most modern meme comics are an imitation of. I know a bit about Garth Ennis, but I don't intend on talking about him today. I don't actually have a reason to. There's nothing in the news about it. As he hasn't really put out anything new recently, at least of import. But yeah, Wuthering Waves won the player's voice. Basically, Expedition 33 won everything else. Excellent. Love to see it. I hope this is a wake-up call for the AAA industry, that they were able to make a game that looks that good, plays that good, and has that in-depth of a story with such a great soundtrack on what was traditionally more of like a AA budget. Actually, between like a single A and AA budget. And it's a turn-based RPG. It's a very interactive turn-based RPG. I won't say it's like the most simple turn-based RPG there is. It's very reactive. I could think of a couple other ones like Lost Odyssey or Blue Dragoon, or Blue Dragon, that are like that. You could throw Paper Mario and the Mario and Luigi games in the same category, though they're not quite to that level of reaction when it comes to pairing and everything. But it's the same category, any of the Mario RPGs. But still, it's a turn-based RPG. You do have to wait to take your turn. Even when you're reacting to what somebody else does, you're doing it on a turn. So it is a turn-based RPG. And a lot of companies have thought, hey, you can't make a successful turn-based RPG that's high fidelity like that. It just doesn't fit the genre and the design. And Expedition 33 has been blowing holes in that idea for the entire year now. And it decided it was going to do it one last time at the end of the year by winning every single award. I think every single category that it was nominated for, it won the award for it. Baldur's Gate 3 was successful. It was successful, yes. Yes, it was. That one was the first step, I think, recently. I think that one is a little closer to strictly a AA budget, but that was the start. This has been a whole year of blowing holes in that idea. Expedition 33 was even bigger than Baldur's Gate 3, but we can't not give credit to the fact that Baldur's Gate 3 was already starting that trend first. People thought that this format of gaming, I don't even want to call it a genre because I guess it technically is a genre, but it is a very big umbrella for smaller genres. But this overall format of gaming had to be considered either obsolete or moved over to low-budget indie games, to even on decent budget games, something like Octopath Traveler or Bravely Default. It's like, no. Even one of Square's other games, the Emerald Saga Beyond, was already poking holes in that too, because it's fairly high fidelity. Even before that, Yakuza Like a Dragon was already poking holes in that. It's like, you can use this format for literally anything as long as the story's compelling. I'm not saying every game should be a turn-based RPG. I love my variety of games. But if you are telling a good story, there's no reason it couldn't be a turn-based RPG. It should just be up to the dev team to decide what type of game they want to make, obviously. Yes, Octopath Traveler 0 did release. Haven't gotten to play it yet. I'm really excited for it. I've played 1 and 2. I've played the hell out of Octopath Traveler 1 and 2. I even played a lot of Champions of the Continent, the gacha mobile game for Octopath Traveler, which 0 here kind of follows up directly because it's taking place in that era of the world that Octopath takes place in. Really, really good turn-based RPG. I would say in some ways, balance-wise, it's not as solid as some of the old Final Fantasy games, but in other ways, it does a really good job of making you really get into what makes each character their character. Like, the storytelling in the Octopath games are magnificent. Because instead of just focusing on the overall story, like this grand adventure, you get to focus on the lives of each individual character. I know this one won't be doing that as much. It's going to be following how Champions of the Continent had a bunch of pullable characters. So they had, instead of following the character paths, you followed kind of like paths of corruption or whatever, like the path of power, path of wealth. I actually can't even remember what the third path was. But there was like 3 paths that all had a boss at the end, and you were playing through those chapters. And they added more over time. Because this one's going to have so many playable characters, this kind of functions more like that. I don't know if the story will be as strong, because it won't be a bunch of like part stories, a very Chaucer, Canterbury Tales style that focus on each of the characters. This will be focused more on the world itself. But I have faith, even having not played it yet, I have faith in the team that they should be able to pull out all the stops and still make a spectacular story, even changing the format up some. They've done a good job so far. It's been pretty good so far. Other than that, too, I'm also really excited from the same studio, I think. I want to say. It's the same format. It's from Square, too. I think it was supposed to be the same studio as Octopath, though. But the Adventures of Elliot, which is going to be more of a Legend of Zelda style game in that 2D HD style, which is going to be really cool. I can't wait to play that. There's a bunch of stuff on my backlog that I need to get into. I started a few other games recently, since I'll move past the Game Awards. And we were talking about some gacha games and stuff in that regard. I started Stellar Sora just this last week. I haven't got too far into it. Mostly I've just played enough to get a good grasp of what's going on. I really like it. It reminds me a lot of Dragalia Lost, which is one of my favorite gacha games of all time. It's definitely up there in like top 5 of all of the, probably even just all mobile games, period, that I've played. Dragalia Lost is up there. And Stellar Sora has been reminding me of that. It's got that heavy roguelike element too, which is not like Dragalia Lost. The Dragalia Lost would have been really cool if it had more roguelike elements to it. Just so you could have something to play when you're done with all the main story stuff. Something that's like maybe akin to the Deep Dungeon in Final Fantasy XIV would have really worked with Dragalia Lost's system. But Stellar Sora's fun. I can't say too much about it other than like I've played a few chapters. I've gotten a few characters. I've started building. I'm getting involved in the mechanics. It's a lot of auto-targeting, but that's fine since they're going for like a Diablo-esque play style of dungeon crawling. You really only play one character at a time. You have 2 off-fielders, but you use all of their moves. So that's pretty cool. It's a very active game, despite the fact that there's a lot of auto-targeting. And so, yeah. I don't know if I can recommend it yet until I get further enough into it to know where the hurdles will start to come in, but I'm enjoying it. Yes, Uma Musume did win Mobile Game of the Year. Congratulations to them on that. I'm just still upset that I haven't gotten my Manhattan Cafe yet. This is a problem with Uma Musume. If you're not willing or able to throw money at it, you could save up all you want for a character, but because there's like no like decent pity system, though the rates are good, it's like, man, you gotta blow like what, 200 to guarantee a copy of the character. And it's like, I saved not 200. Maybe I'll hit it close soon, but I only have until, tomorrow? I think is when the banner ends. It's to the 16th. I'm probably not getting Manhattan Cafe. At least this time. Though the cool part is, screw pity. What's better is everything just kind of moves to the banner anyway. So I've gotten a few characters that I missed just randomly off of not getting the character I'm pulling on right now off banner, right? So that's also pretty cool. I can't complain. I've got plenty of characters I want. I recently got the Halloween, Super Creek, the mummy, Hug Your Mummy one, which I've been running the heck out of. I love that. Creek was already one of my favorite characters when we started the game, so getting another version of her was great. And so I can't complain. I'm doing fine with Uma Musume. Do I think it deserved to win, though? No. But also, for the same reason, a couple of the other games shouldn't have either, and I brought this up when we were covering the nominees on the show a few weeks ago. I understand that anyone who has not won before can be renominated, and Global only came out this year, so that's a little more justification than, say, like, Wuwa, which was also nominated, and Wuwa's already a year old. But let's be real, Uma Musume's a 3-year-old game. It shouldn't really have been on that list. It's the only one that, aside from maybe Wuwa, that deserved to win. Those other games were all pretty bad. The Persona mobile game is not good. I don't know why people like that, but other than it's Persona, so they're going to play it, right? They'll play anything that's Persona. But it's like, God, I guess we had to put a 3-year-old game on there, so somebody deserved to win. And see, Fizz is like, how easy is it to force yourself to watch something just because it's popular? So it depends. Am I going to have to talk about this thing for one reason or the other? Because even though we don't have a large viewership, I do run a show. So there is kind of like that onus of if something is decently popular enough, I might have to watch it just to talk about it, right? But that only goes so far. If something's like really bad, or like, it might not even be bad, I just personally don't really like it, I'll drop it. Even if it is the popular thing, I'll drop it. But that said, for me, it is actually really, really easy for me to watch something I don't like at all. I can do it, especially if it's spite driven. I've done this before. The thing on why I tend to drop most stuff is because I'm interested in so many things that I'd rather just spend my time on the other things I could be doing that I'm interested in, right? But I remember back in the day, I thought My Little Pony Friendship is Magic was stupid, right? And I had some friends, a couple of them, specifically my friend Kavi, who anybody who reads X Dynamous Chaos would recognize that Kavi, real person, shows up in episode 2, Magnetic Mayhem. He liked My Little Pony Friendship and Magic, and he was like, I don't think you can watch both seasons and then tell me it was a bad show. So I watched both seasons that were available at that time, all the way through. My opinion of the show did not change at all after watching it. And I watched it intently. I wasn't on a phone. Actually, I don't even know if I owned a phone at that time. Like, I wasn't browsing while watching it. I wasn't doing art while watching it. I was sitting there, and I was trying to absorb this show so that if I had any complaints about it, they were correct. I took notes while watching it. I even tried to pretend it's like, okay, maybe it's not the ponies themselves, right? Maybe that's not the problem. Maybe if I imagine that this is a different show where they're all just like normal girls, or the unicorns have wands instead, because it's basically what it is. You know, we've got like angel girls flying around, whatever. I don't care. Like, if I imagine this was something else, would the plots still be good? No, they weren't. The humor was all right. I gave it the credit it deserves. The humor was all right. Some of the characterization was all right. The show wasn't good. People still think that show's good. I don't know why. But yes, I can force myself to watch something if I don't like it. I need to have a good reason to. And it being popular isn't necessarily that good of a reason. Where were we? Been doing insane in the current champions meeting with Halloween race shower. Oh, carrying your other two. I've been doing horrible in the champions meet. Absolutely horrible right now. It's not even that I don't have long runners that could do it. I just don't have them built, and I don't really have the cards to support them for the right stats. Like, it's hard for me to get the right stats each time. I've barely made it into qualifying for the final round of the, like, graded B Cup instead of the lower ungraded, or maybe I have the terms back up, but the higher one, and I made it into B class. So the fact that I at least made it to a final round is enough for me. I'm going to get enough of the currency, but I think I only won a single champions meet race out of like the 20 that I ran. It was rough. But I made it. All you got to do is keep spamming until RNG is in your favor. I'm probably getting third place. I think tomorrow, or is it tomorrow? It's probably tomorrow. Tomorrow is the actual final round of the, the Libra Cup. And I'm probably just third place. But I'll get my participation carrots, and that's all that matters. All that matters at all. Destiny Rising is also played more on PC emulator. I didn't know that, but that doesn't shock me at all. Because it's Destiny. Like, if you could emulate it, if you could fix the controls, why wouldn't you? I'm surprised they don't just have a PC port for it, but I guess that almost defeats the purpose of wanting to make it a mobile game when there's already, like, a console-level Destiny. But I think if you make a good mobile game these days, you should have a PC port. Whether you need to use the Google Play Android modifier, which they have it where you could just use Google Play to put the game onto your computer. I believe that's how I played Brown Dust 2 on computer. I think Brown Dust 2 has a Steam version now. Or you can also just have a Steam version, which works really well. Oh, okay, so the PC port, there's a lot of them where the PC port is just an emulator. I don't like it. I don't think that's a good way to do it. I don't think that's a good way to run those at all. It's the reason why I dropped Devil May Cry Peak of Combat. I was enjoying the game. Felt very Devil May Cry. I watch videos on it so I can keep up with all the lore, world building, and scaling stuff that happens in it, but it just does not play well on the emulator that it uses. It's like LD something or whatever is the emulator. It's not good. Good game, not a good way to play it on PC, and I don't like playing it on my phone. Plus, all these games take up so much space. So much space on my phone. I don't have that much space for them all. Let's see. Now, Fizz, if you don't like these shows, you don't need to force yourself to watch them. You shouldn't watch something just because it's popular. Especially Dan to Dan. I'm keeping up with it because now I'm just kind of like in it. That's another one talking about like, can I force myself to watch something just because it's popular? It's really mid. Dan to Dan's like a really, really mid show. But I'm in it. You know, I'm invested at this point. I'm caught up. I might as well see where it goes. I could give a proper review once the whole series is over. Probably won't be a very good one. I will say, I do like the characters more and more the longer the series goes on. I didn't really like any of them at the beginning. But right around the end of Season 2, I'm starting to kind of like the characters. They are growing on me a bit. I don't think it's a form of Stockholm Syndrome either. The characters are actually developing, so that's probably why they're growing on me. That honestly should be the reason a character grows on you as well. They should be developing throughout a series. If not, it might be a good time to drop the series. That's my personal opinion on that. Series that just ended, though. We finished Welcome to Derry, which I thoroughly enjoyed through to the end. I don't think it is a good addition to it. On the face of it, right? Like, I don't think it is a good addition to an adaptation of it, because it's very inconsistent in that regard. I do think it's a good show. I think it's a good psychological horror show that rests well within a Stephen King universe. It slowly became more of an homage to the entire main section of that world in Stephen King's universe than it became a prequel to it. Right? We have the asylum is there. Right? They make reference to Shawshank. There's a couple other main things that happen there too. There's some characters that only exist their ancestry in other parts that have made it into Derry somehow. It's all, even the end, the very end, not to spoil anything. This is more of effect than anything else. I won't tell you what it did in the show or what it means. But they even kind of brought the Mist in, which was another story that took place in Maine. It wasn't exactly the Mist, but they threw an homage to that too. I think they have a reference to insomnia in there, which ends up going through Maine, Derry specifically at one point, but that's way further in the future. It's really just an homage to King. I don't know if this was the end of the series, though. It was the season finale. They might end up going further back in time after this one. I think I would like it more if this was a series finale, but they left it really open for like, oh, well, what if we went backwards more? Just like, fine, you know, why not? He's been around. You could have it doing more things in previous eras, but I'd probably say I'd give that season like a 6.8 to almost maybe round up to a 7 out of 10. I think that's probably where I'd go with it, all things considered. And that's just initially the fact that it ended this weekend. I might give it a lower or higher score after I've sat on it longer. Like even by next week, after I've thought about it more, I might even change how I feel about it. But so far, it's fine. You know. See. Kind of sad Chaos Zero Nightmare didn't get nominated. The game is still so fun to do runs of. I couldn't get into it. I tried. I downloaded it. It's not for me. I don't know if it is the more like card-based nature of it that I didn't care for or whatever. I just did not get very far into Chaos Zero Nightmare. I don't think it's a bad game. I think it's just not the type that I personally like. I think the only game even remotely similar to that I ever enjoyed as far as gacha was Mobius Final Fantasy. Collected your skills and abilities in a very similar way. You only had one character, and it was the Warrior of Light. That was a fun game. That's actually, I think, my favorite mobile game of all time. My favorite gacha game of all time was Mobius Final Fantasy. They killed it after like 4 years. Really fun. Really, really high fidelity. Like they were doing that, I think, before almost anybody else was. And they just kind of like dumped it. Oh, well. Bye. Sorry. What else did I think we finished some other stuff recently? I know there's one episode left of Ranma, which will for this season, which should be this upcoming week. There's no spoiler what the episode is. It's the continuation of the one that it just was. Moose returned. We've got the other half of Moose. kind of predictable. I'm a little upset on it. I might go on a Ranma rant sometime this week because I do have 4 shows to fill this week. I might, mostly just because of this season. The things they decided to do this season might need an entire rant for it. So be prepared for that. You assumed this was going to be an open call stream, considering there is no specific titles. I don't know about open call. I will be letting callers on this show, maybe even as soon as this week. But as I get into the flow of it, because we're just moving back into the Vomitorium Live. Not today. Today, we're just getting back to this format. Kind of just going to riff a bit. I might let people on. Now, open, though, no. I don't know if it's going to be open. I'm not just going to let people come on here and talk about whatever they want to talk about. If it has something to do with whatever we might be talking about on the show, sure, they could come in. If you propose something and I agree to it in the chat, then I might let you on. But I'm not just going to necessarily highlight callers to come in and then change the subject to whatever they want to talk about. That's not how I'm going to run the show. This is not Coast to Coast AM. Even in Coast to Coast AM, they still kind of wanted you to mostly be on whatever the topic of the day ended up being. But, yeah. Maybe try again later this week. I might let some people on. But where was I going with? Where was my train of thought there? Ranma. Overall, I've been enjoying it. I'm going to save a different stream for ranting about that. We've been watching One Punch Man, which Fizz did mention earlier. Hey, sorry you can't get into it. It's not for everyone. I enjoy it. It's probably the most boring part of One Punch Man right now, though. If you are looking for gags, because it's not a very gag-heavy part in the series. If you want to see what some of the other heroes can do, because the real strength of One Punch Man is the cast doing things, the ones who aren't Saitama, who actually have to try, and having a lot of fun battles where even a lot of times they end up losing until Saitama comes in. But it's all about their character growth. Specifically, it's about Genos. One Punch Man is more about Genos' character growth than it is about Saitama. They're invading the monster HQ. So it's a bunch of like the S-rank heroes just fighting different monsters. Next episode, they're going to start doing dragon level threats, which are like the highest ranking for threat that they have in the Hero Association. It is building up. I think there's going to be a pretty good season finale, because I've read further than this, so I know where it's going. And the pacing they're doing is like, yes, they're going to hit that spot by the season finale. I trust that it's going to get very interesting very soon. Not to spoil anything for people who are anime-only watchers. Nah, King is the real MC. I like King. King's a good character. King is funny. There's a lot of good bits with King. Oh, there was the Dahlia trailer for HSR. Yeah, Dahlia's hitting this week. That's right. I've been on my main account just dedicating all my pulls to pulling more Saber, which I'm pretty close to my E5 Saber. I'm like really, really close. E5 was the first one I lost a 50-50 on. Funny enough, also to Fushwin, which is where we lost our last 50-50 on the stream account to. But because I don't think the banner's going anywhere, I might stop pulling for a little bit just to pull Dahlia. Because I am just really, really invested into Super Break, and you kind of need her for Super Break to still be able to do something, you know? I'm definitely pulling her on the stream account because we've got a lot of Super Break characters there. I've seen some crazy stuff with Dahlia Boot Hill, even though Boot Hill doesn't even give her all of her activations, right? Like Firefly's the one that uses her kit to the fullest. Boot Hill's like, I don't care. I don't need your kit to the fullest. I just need some of it. So we're definitely pulling her on the main. We did not get Cyrene's Light Cone as an update. I know I have not been streaming any of that stuff at all. We will kind of go back to that. I don't know if I'll be doing gaming streams daily, though, just because there's other things I need to do. We might go back and forth between stuff. I might be doing some art streams. I do have this table over here set up for art. I even have a gooseneck mount that I can put my camera in so you guys can see the art. So sometimes during the day, we might do some art streams. Sometimes we might do some game streams, especially if there's new content, which there will be new content for HSR. Probably either Wednesday or Thursday. I think we'll hit up the new Star Rail content. I think that'll be a good day. I'll probably have already done it on my main account by then. We could do it. We could even talk a little bit about it on the late night show. I really like that this is a late night block. It is way more comfortable for me. I'm more alert at this time because I am a night owl. I'm a true night owl. Sometimes I'm up until the sun comes up. So this is when I am the most active. If I need to run a show by myself, this is the time that I can run a show by myself. I'm not going to run out of steam as much as I would earlier in the day. It's just how I work. I've always been active at this time. When I was younger, most of the projects that I did were in the middle of the night. I got on average 2 hours of sleep every night in high school. I know that sounds crazy, but that's how I just functioned. I would be up, I'd be working on things, I'd watch Inuyasha, which came on at like 4 o'clock in the morning. I'd watch 2 episodes of that on Adult Swim, then I'd go to sleep, and then I'd be back up in 2 or less hours to go for a jog and then get ready for school. That was my high school life. So this is, once it's dark, once it's late, this is when my mind is firing. And this is why the show is now a late show. But because, again, it is late night. It's going to be an actual late night show. I will have callers on. If you guys want to call in, maybe give me another day. Give me Tuesday to get back into the flow of these things. Maybe on Wednesday, I'll let people come in for a short bit at a time. Also, no Rappa. Yeah, Rappa, A, doesn't get everything out of Dahlia's kit, but B, the other no Rappa is... I was really upset, too, to see that she's not getting her rerun. Really, really, really upset. We saw all of the Super Break related characters. Right? The first one, we've got Dahlia Firefly. Next, we've got Lingshaw, we've got Fugue. We're like, cool. So are we going to put, like, Rappa Boot Hill for that filler 2 weeks or whatever? No, what we're putting there, we're putting, Aglayan Sunday. Why? What did we get out of this? I know it's only 2 weeks. And that would still be kind of stiffing Rappa to put her there. But it'd be better than nothing. It's been like, what, over a year since Rappa released? Yeah, I think too. That's what I was pondering in my head. That it was probably because she was a ninja. And everything about her is super Japanese. She's a ninja in the way that, like, Naruto is a ninja, right? Where it's like, well, as a ninja, you wouldn't be really good, but as, like, a combat shonen character, you're a ninja, right? And that's the whole reason why we're not going to Edo Star. Or, I don't even know if it was supposed to actually be Edo Star, if that was where the port was. It was a longer name. It was like Byzenta Goku or something like that, I think was the name of the port. That might have been in Edo Star. But they're actually changing it to a theme park centered around the Trailblaze instead, which looks cool. I'm not complaining. Yeah, Plain Arcadia, which was already kind of mentioned. Like, I think we knew this change was coming because there is a relic set for Planet Arcadia. Or Plain Arcadia. They warned us. They absolutely warned us this was happening. Even without people needing to leak it. So, It looks cool. I like the giant Cocolia toy or whatever, the tower inflatable thing that was in the picture. It's definitely following our exploits. And we're finally going to get Yai Sakura. Or technically it's not Sakura. It's the other one. It's the Captain versus Mai whose name, or Yai, the Captain versus Yai whose name escapes me. I can't remember. It starts with, does it start with like a B? No. Yes. I don't remember. It's bothering me that I can't. But it's a variant of Yai Sakura. That name has already existed in Honkai Impact 3rd. I'm spacing on it. Blanking out. And it's because it's a name that I think I've probably only ever read once. That happens, you know. For La Mancha. Is La Mancha... I've heard about him. He's a Galaxy Ranger. Like, I know what he is. But is he supposed to be the other guy in the silhouette with, like, the big hat? That almost looks like a Australian Outback hat mixed with, like, a Mexican Ranger hat. Because I was trying to figure out who the other one is, and I think I saw some people saying that was him. And some people are like, no, that's Sampo. I was like, that's not Sampo. Even if Sampo put a hat on, it's like, that guy is a little tall to be Sampo. Sampo's like the same height as Blade, I think. And that guy, I think, was even taller than Blade. I would like some bigger characters, too. Some more variants on the characters in these games. That would be cool. I haven't really complained up to this point, but we are getting to the point that we've been to so many different places that having some more variants would help a lot. Boot Hill's kind of like the weirdest character we've gotten so far, where he's a cyborg. But yeah, it was definitely Sparkle, Blade, Silver Wolf. Looked like Himiko. Looked like Honkai Impact 3rd Himiko. Right? Like the way that she wears her hair and has like the feather in it. Even kind of had like the fluff and stuff from her fuzzier Valkyrie outfit. And definitely Yai, so that other one could be La Mancha. Fizz is a weird question. He wants to ask, has anyone seen a human be forcibly turned into a mecha in a manga before? I can't say I have. I might have and forgot about it, but to my memory, I have not. I've seen comics on the internet, like one-pagers and stuff where people have turned into cars and everything, but I can't really say I've seen somebody turn into a mecha. The other leaked variants were Aventurine and Robin. I don't know if I need new versions of them. Maybe Aventurine. Depends what they do. I don't know if I need another Robin. I kind of just like Robin as a character the way she is. If it just blows me out of the water, maybe I'd be into it. At least give her a new song. Right? If you're gonna put a variant of Robin, at least give her a different song. Maybe we can switch between the two. I still haven't gotten tired of Sway to My Beat in Cosmos. It's my alarm, actually, for waking up in the morning / afternoon, depending on when I'm waking up that day. But a lot of people are sick of it. And even as somebody not sick of it, I would still just want a different song. Let it be a heavy metal Robin. That would be crazy. That would be crazy. Anyhow, it is 10:56 my time, which is when I end the show. Thank you guys for coming. I hope you enjoyed this shorter, but now more frequent Vomitorium. I'm the Metal, as always. And I will see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place, to talk about whatever I feel like talking about that day. And maybe, I don't know, I might do something earlier on. I'll figure it out. So you guys take it easy. Nice.